All right. How's everybody doing here? It is April Fool's Day. Wow, how'd that one get past me? I just looked down and like, oh, that's April Fool's. I don't have any jokes for you, so sorry about that. All right, let's see what we got going on here. All right. I apologize again for having to move the dates around. Barb's having a knee surgery tomorrow, so I'm going to be a housemaid tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to be paying attention to calls. So let's see. All right, still got people coming in here. Does anybody have any particular questions you want me to get started with?
I do. I'll jump in actually.
Yeah, go ahead,
Um,
Brian.
hey, did you happen to see that thing I sent you about tracking the AI referrals in Google Analytics?
I say yes, I did. I sent that off to Chris to see if he knew anything about that.
Yeah, I think that could be helpful. I haven't actually set it up, but that's what Perplexity told me to do.
Okay.
Um, and it'd be cool to be able to show clients that traffic is coming because otherwise they have to ask people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Ask where they came from, stuff like that. Um, the other thing was,
Well,
and this might be a
one,
question for Chris, but I was wondering about this, and sometimes I like the FAQs that are generated by that, and sometimes I don't. But and obviously we can make our own. But um, in the instance that they don't necessarily want the FAQs on every page, or maybe to be that visible, I was thinking back in the day of SEO where we used to like make it the same color as the background or something
I,
like that.
I
I wonder if
knew
that would work.
I knew right where you're going with that.
I
Um,
think it might work.
well, yeah, I mean it'll work, but it's not a good idea.
Okay.
It was never a good idea to make the text the same color as the background.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
and the reason is Google, I mean, even back in the beginning, that was a bad idea when they were even manually reviewing stuff. But now they're so sophisticated on detecting things like that, and they have a list a mile long of stuff to look for. And believe me, that's top of the list right there.
right. So you think the AIs will the LLMs will be doing the same thing?
Oh, eventually, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Eventually they're going to be looking for stuff. But the cool part about what we're doing with the AI optimization is we're not doing anything wrong.
No,
We're doing everything right. Like the LLM, they want that.
yeah,
We're
100%,
just giving it to them. You know,
100%.
the schema is the same thing. They want that. And the FAQ, that helps them understand your content and what questions you answer. You had mentioned that you don't like some of the FAQs, and I get that, I mean they're generated by AI, so they're not always going to be perfect. But what I can tell you is some of the ones that I've seen that were really bad, the reason that they were bad was because the content on the page was bad.
Yeah, yes, I
So
agree.
it's like, bad begets bad.
100%.
So
Garbage in, garbage out.
yeah, exactly. So if you can really instill upon your clients that content is really king, especially when it comes to AI optimization. Because the AI, it knows what it's looking for. And if it doesn't find it, it's off to the next one. But like back to what you were asking about, like hiding the FAQs with the same color
That dates. I think that
background.
dates us a little bit.
I know how to do it. Like back in the very early days when I saw that, I'm like, oh hell no. And
Oh.
and I had a client that wanted it. I said, look, this is the only way I can protect you against yourself is I'm going to do something for you. And I made him a GIF. It was a 1 by 1 pixel GIF, and I colored the GIF transparent. So what happened was that wherever you place the GIF, it would just show up and wipe out any text on the screen because it was the same color as the background. So it would override, the image would override the text, but it
Ah.
would be the same color as the background. And I called it
Slick.
the phantom GIF. And it was hilarious because I could literally Google phantom GIF and I knew who was using it. So it was classic. But the phantom GIF, I used that in a lot of different things in early SEO. One of the things I used it for was to hide text in it because it's an image, so you can put an alt text in there.
Right.
And by doing that, you can inject content into the code that the user can't see, but the search engine can see. So there was a lot of applications for that phantom GIF. You could color it, you could make things disappear, you could hide things within it. And the search engines to this day have not figured that one out. So that trick
Slick.
still works.
Good to know. Good to know.
There's a couple of those little tricks I did, all the way back in the 90s that still work today. They never figured them out.
Very cool. All
But
right.
all
Thanks,
the all
John.
the ones all the ones that did what you were talking about, they all got just smoked. So, all right, Daryl, go ahead.
Thank you, John.
I was
That's
mute.
amazing.
I was
Some of the
mute.
things that you've came up with
I
that
was
I would
muting you
never have
out there
thought of in a
because
million years. This has been covered before, but I'm going to. I want to use your tools, and I had mentioned Kartra, and you sent me the link to sign up for you. I
Mhm.
signed up on a free account, and there's no way on there to update or upgrade. I went through
I
the search and told them where it is, but it's not there.
I
Would the
believe if
simplest
you
thing maybe just close that account and reopen it
now
on
what'll
your link?
happen, one of two things will happen. You can either go up to the top right where the little icon is there that drops
Mhm.
down, and you can go into the billing section and you can
There's
upgrade
no
there.
billing section shown on the free account. That's the problem.
Oh, I would have to, if you want, we can do a Zoom later and I can get in there and look
Okay.
at it for you.
Okay.
But the other thing that will happen too on the free account, usually they'll prompt you to upgrade because you're in a sequence.
No, I know.
And it might take them a while to get to it, but I could almost guarantee you they're going to try and pitch you.
Okay. What level of Kartra do I need to be on to take advantage of your tools?
Most of the stuff you can do just on the basic level. And I know they're running a special right now that I think they're doing 3 months at like half price or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you could get in on that. But if you said you went to my link, that's the Internet Dominators / Kartra?
No, I went to. I'm already on the free account, and it
Okay.
said there to go to the profile and click on billing. When you go to
Yes.
profile, there is no billing link.
Okay. Well, that's weird. That must be, they must have changed things around then because that's where it should be.
Yeah, and I saw three different levels of pricing while I was trying to figure it out. So they've got all kinds of stuff out there, and you don't know which one is really valid. It went from 126 to 118 down to the 50% off, like you're mentioning.
Yeah. Yeah. I know for me, I've got the middle layer. It's like 219 or something like that.
All right,
And and I need it because, I use Kartra at a very high level. And
all right.
when you first get started, I would recommend, just start with the low level until you need an upgrade.
Well, I
You know.
need to upgrade from the free to use your tools.
Yes. Yes. You
Right.
need you need to do that because the free,
So the first paid layer.
what probably happened was you probably signed up for the affiliate program, which got you in a free account.
Oh, could be whatever you told us to do way back then.
Yeah, yeah. So if you signed up for the affiliate program, that's a free account and it just gives you access just only to the affiliate tools.
Okay,
So that might be what you're on.
sounds like it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
I
so
know
if
how to fix
you
it.
if you go to the internetdominators.com/Kartra, it should give you like the pricing options to create an
Right,
account, a paid account.
right. Yeah, I think I'll just close that one and open a new one and have it done.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, John.
All right, you got it. All right, Eddie, go ahead.
Hello, hiya, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, just unmuted. Listen, about the Optimancer, do you know the videos that you've provided?
Uh-huh.
Can we use them as is? Because I was racking my brains all week. It was I'm working with a WordPress theme, and it's not even the classic editor or some sort of thing my web hosting company did, and I basically had to work the code all into my own flipping knowledge, and it took me till about 10 minutes ago to get most of it right. But I did notice the videos you mentioned in the funnel about re-recording them. Would you can we use them as is? Are they going to be staying up in your Chartwell link for a while, or what's the dealio there?
Yeah, you can use those, any of the stuff that we provided you in the agency section. There's a
Uh-huh.
whole there's a whole page dedicated to the agencies. And any of that stuff in there, you guys are free to use. I created a lot of videos that
Yeah.
should be, usable as is. They're
Oh,
generic.
well, that's good. So they'll be staying up for a while then. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, those are
Oh
those
no,
are there
that's
for you
good.
guys. So,
That's brilliant because I'm just gonna I'm just taking the bull by the horns. Even though everything's not pristine, I'm just gonna start advertising tomorrow or Friday. Just want to get out there and
yeah.
see
Yeah.
what I can do.
I
Here, listen.
even made the videos for you that are right in the sales page and in the opt-in pages and all of
Oh
that.
yeah,
So,
I have them. I've managed to get them in. I'm on WordPress, you see, and it was tricky to get them to load in, but I've got them. I somehow managed just to chop and change things with the code. I got it all working, and they look brilliant. One final question: any advice for talking people on consultation calls? What's
yeah, on the consultation call, it's really a simple call. It really is just a consult to them. And you're
Mhm,
basically going over their baseline report. You're telling them if they've got an LLM, maybe you can look at
mhm,
it and see, uh, if it's installed, if it's not installed. That's a big point. So
mhm.
that's point number one is the LLM in, because that makes them invisible if it's not.
Yes,
So
indeed. Yeah.
your consult is you definitely want an LLM file in here, right? You're not telling them how to
Mhm.
do it or anything like that. It's
Uh-huh.
just you're going over their results. And then the same thing with the schema, and you can do just a brief little thing about schema, telling them why it's important. And you can learn all this stuff in our videos. Because in the video, the sales pitch video, the webinar video that I did, I go over all that stuff. So you
Yeah.
could
Uh,
basically just mimic me.
yeah.
You basically just learn, what each one is important for. The FAQs, that is, they refer to that as answer first content. So
Mhm.
those three things, that's really all the consult is for. You're
That's
just
okay.
discussing those three things. And then
Mhm.
at the end of the consult, you can say, you may qualify to work with us. You may not, but you might. And this is almost like a classic takeaway because now they're on the edge of their seat. Like, what do I have to do to qualify? And you say,
Mhm.
it's really simple to qualify. We only take on customers that are in WordPress. So
Yeah.
if they're in WordPress, it's a slam dunk. It's just
Mhm.
a no-brainer. As long as you
Mhm.
don't outprice them. And price is
Mhm.
a tricky thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know a lot of people are trying to serve the little companies, the little home-based businesses, and
Mhm.
price is really sensitive at that level. And
Yeah,
and
indeed.
I know a lot of you come from the SEO world like I do, And I never would touch that world. I would never touch that level in there. I was always shooting for $2 to $10 million manufacturers.
Well,
That was
if you if
that
you
was
know how to
my
get
goal.
them, send them this way.
Oh, they're everywhere. Literally, they believe
Oh
me,
well,
those they're everywhere.
this listen. If one comes into the funnel, that's okay.
They're not hard to find, believe me. Um,
Oh, be
but a
great.
lot of people focus on the little guys, and they're charging them $500 to $1,000 a month for basic SEO services. They can't afford that.
Yeah,
If you're talking about $1,000 a month, that's 12 grand a year for a plumber that's probably only making 50.
yeah.
I,
No, wouldn't be good.
but
Do we see their do you know the way if they do the score test on the widget, right?
uh-huh,
Um, we don't actually see that score, isn't that right? So like if we you
that
wanted to discuss the report with them, do you know what I mean?
that score is really kind of gimmicky.
Oh,
Honest,
I know it is, but it's just in the way that hooks them in and they'll be going like,
yes,
well, we only scored 20, or even worse, what if they scored 85? And
so
oh dear.
here's the reality of the score and why it's even in there and all that. Again,
Uh-huh.
it's just a gimmick on the front end. It's not meant for you to run that report again and say, "Oh, look, we raised your score."
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
report, they see it one time and they either become a client or they don't.
Hmm.
If they become a client, that report goes out the window. That disappears forever. Gone. You go into the Optimancer and you run the baseline report.
Hmm.
This is the progress report. The
Yeah,
progress report focuses on those three things. It's the LLM, the schema, and the FAQ. And you give them your baseline report. You say, okay, here's where we're starting. Now we're going to do the work. And then you go back and you run Optimancer. You generate the FAQs, the LLM, the schema, and then you
hmm,
sync it all up. You install it. And then you can rerun the report and give them the report, and it shows that you've done all this work.
yeah,
And it shows like all the detail of everything. So that report, if they've got a
yeah.
20 or 30 page site, they're gonna have a 100-page report.
Yes, indeed. Do you see if they're monthly customers, we can't run the report again. What do you actually send them? To say, for example, you don't know, you run the report week three, and then you contact them a week later, and you boom it out to them.
So
Can we give them anything else if you know what I mean? If they're staying on a monthly retainer?
there's all kinds of other ancillary services that you could do if you want to. Like
Mhm.
one of the things I would recommend that would actually help them is help add content to their site.
Yes,
Like just take a page or, a page a week and just generate content for them and put it on there. And then the FAQ will update, the schema will update, and now you're actually doing something to if you want to justify that money coming in every month, that's what you would do. And you could
mhm,
easily get an outsourcer to do this stuff.
exactly.
So if
Is
you've
there
got
anybody, do you know way, Chris? Is there anybody in your group here? No way you can make people's transfer people over to WordPress. It doesn't have that. Like, but is there anybody in here that does SEO services? So like I could offer them that service and then contract somebody or yourselves or some company in here to do that. Do you know what I mean? For all the the
most
real technical stuff like.
yeah, most everyone I know that was sane got
Hmm.
out of the SEO on the low end. They just
Oh, I.
they're gone. They're
Hmm.
absolutely gone. Where SEO exists still and it's strong. SEO is alive and well, and
Hmm.
it's in those higher end customers. It's in the manufacturers, it's in the
Oh, I.
retailers, it's in the real business world. It exists,
Yes.
it's alive and well, and it's thriving.
Oh, aye, that's what I was thinking. Just in case you meet one of them high rollers, when you want to offer them like a 5 grand a month service or something, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But when you
But
get down on the low end, SEO just makes no sense whatsoever anymore. It to me, it never did.
yeah,
To me, it absolutely never did. And I've supplied a lot of SEO services over the years, and I had a lot of resellers that they only served those little customers. And it was always a constant churn.
well, sorry to
Like
hear that.
my customers, when I got a customer, they were with me for life. In fact,
Mhm.
when I started in this, it was like 30 years ago, and I was a much younger man then, and most of my clients were my age now. And at this point, they're all dead. That was the only time they left me. They died.
You killed them all.
So,
Yeah, no problem. That's grand.
but yeah, I just never went back and refilled the bucket. I rode that lifestyle out for years and years, and it was just, it just kind of fell off by attrition. So
Log.
once I got to a certain point, then I just started, creating SEO tools and things for the industry. And that's kind of where I want to stay from here. The site pop and the Optimancer. I'm happy just supplying the tools for the guys that want to go out there and do it. I don't want to compete with anybody.
No
So,
problem. Grand job, thank you.
all right, you got it. Lewis, go
Cheers.
ahead.
Hello, John. Thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted to just ask real quick, what, I guess, if you have any, what sort of strategies would you recommend to do lead generation to actually reach decision makers in large corporations like you were mentioning, like manufacturers and
Mhm.
that can actually afford the service?
I'll tell you the best way to generate leads for those people is find their trade show, like target an industry, create a presentation for that industry, and then see if you can get it delivered during their trade show. Because
Okay.
they always have speakers. So if you
Mm,
can get on that speaker list and you can be a provider and package it as education. Don't try
right.
and sell something there. They don't like that.
No pitching.
But if you can package an educational presentation for them of like 30 minutes, or whatever their time slots are, be very flexible, like do your research, figure out what they're doing, how they're doing it, and sign up to be a speaker and a contributor. You're not a seller, you're not a vendor. You just want to contribute to the good of this community by educating them. That's the
Got it.
easiest path in.
Okay.
And
Okay.
believe me, if they give you that stage, you can do a lot of damage in 30 minutes.
Oh, I bet. I
Because
bet.
all you have to do is tell them what to do. You don't necessarily have to tell them how to do it. You just are telling them what they're missing. You're shining a light on the big problem for them. And you're not offering a solution, but they will come to you wanting it. Guaranteed. They're going to mow you down at the end of the thing. They're not going to let you get out the door if you've done your job right.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Not really, you wouldn't say that like networking events like BNI and all those?
Oh, I'd just as soon throw up than go to one of those places.
Me too. I can't stand those.
I
Okay. All right.
I'm not a networker. I never was. I am a strategic, um, opportunistic feeder, is what
Yeah,
I am.
that's much better.
I'm like the shark that'll lurk outside the cave and wait for you to come out, and then you're done.
All right. Thank you, John.
But yeah, there's all kinds of ways you can do it. There's software that you can go into LinkedIn and you can prospect and all that. But anytime you're doing that, you're trying to create a warm relationship out of iceberg. That's literally an iceberg.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
the best way is for you to be positioned in front of someone with authority. And there's no
Right.
better way than to show up at their trade show association as or as an educator.
Mm,
There's no better way. Now, there's an alternative way that is the digital version of that, and that's a webinar. And I talk about that all the time. You find somebody that's got your audience, they've got their ear. That's a warm audience to them, it's their community. They introduce you, you supply the education, you make the sales. That's a whole different ball game. And I don't like icebergs. Like I'm not one to go and
right.
like scale an iceberg and see if I can get to the top without frostbite. That's not my thing.
I
I've
will. I
always
will. Mhm.
I've always told you guys my head is very soft. I don't like to bang it against walls very often, if at all.
If you're brave though, I do have something I found that gives you 50 free business leads a month called 6 cents. I'll drop the link into the chat,
Okay,
and
cool.
you can filter them out by the company revenue and stuff like that in the free account. So it could take it for a ride and see what you think.
And here's another thing about that particular world. The world I'm talking about is the manufacturing world. These guys are all very tight knit. They all know each other. They all talk. They're all friends. Most of them don't compete. They serve each other. Like one manufacturer might make one thing and 10 others use it, and they're all buddies. And what happens is once you get one of them, you can have all of them because they all talk. And they'll be, if you do a good job for them, now you're part of their clan and they're going to introduce you to the rest. It's just like they've opened the vault for you. You just say, "Hey, I did a great job for you," or you can ask them, "Are you happy with this? Are we on the right track?" And I would do this once a year. Once a year, I would have a client interview, and I would either do it on the phone or in person or whatever. But all it was for was how can I serve you better in the next 12 months? That was it. That was the whole point of the meeting. Every year, I would do that with every one of those clients. They really appreciate that because I wasn't trying to sell them something. I wasn't trying to charge them more. I was trying to figure out if we could reduce and save them money, or if I could do the same amount of work and get them more money in the door. That's what that whole meeting was all about. It wasn't about trying to get more money out of them. And they so appreciated that at the end of that meeting, I would always ask them, "Is there anybody you know that you think I could help?" And man, they would just open the Rolodex. And I know most of you on here know what a Rolodex is. If I was talking to the younger crew, I'd use a different phrase, but they would literally spin that thing open and say, "Yeah, call Jim and Bob and Jack." And I'd say, "Right on. I will take care of them at the same level I've taken care of you." And I'm telling you, you could have all you want. You have to do good work and just ask for it. That's it. So, but I made a very, very good living at serving those clientele. And when I got into training people and showing people how to do their own SEO and spawning agencies and helping, agency owners and all that, I just looked at what they're doing. I'm like, man, this is pure madness. Why don't you just step up a couple of rungs and go for follow the money? The money is not in those little operators. So that was just my modus operandi. So, all right. Anybody else? What else we got going? Any other questions or things you want me to cover? I know I have just absolutely been having a ball with the agentic AI stuff. This is so cool. This is like a whole new world, but it's very different in the way that you prompt. Like with a regular AI agent, you're prompting and they're basically doing the legwork for you. The difference with Agentic is Agentic has a couple of extra features, and you might see, there's some providers now that are releasing versions of this. And one of the things about Agentic is it's got memory. They call it perpetual memory. So if you open up like several different strings or chats, whatever you want to call them, they cross memorize all of what you're doing. That can be good and that can be bad. And I'll tell you how I first discovered it when I first started playing around with it. I did some stuff for Jill, and she's in furniture. She does high-end hotel furniture. And I was running some stuff through there to create some stuff for her website. And then I went on to one of my projects. And all of a sudden it's giving me like furniture references. And I'm like, whoa, 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 hold on a minute. Where'd that come from? And that was where I discovered it's like combining all of your chats into its virtual memory. And so I had to kind of take a step back and say, wait a minute, we need to start over. I need you to flush all of that. And we need some ground rules here. I said, I'm the master of this box and I need control over it. So I said, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to kill all these chat strings and we're going to start fresh. And I said, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to train you on me so you know who I am. You're going to know everything about me, all the way back to my childhood. And then I'm going to train you on my current business. And then I'm going to train you on each of the products of my current business. And then, so you can have context, I'm going to teach you about some of my past businesses so you know how I got here. And I did that. And holy shit, the results have been absolutely amazing. And I also told it in the process of this, I said, there is cases where I work with clients and I'm going to be using you for client work. I need that to be compartmentalized. And I'll tell you exactly when that is. And if I forget, just understand that if we're talking about something that's not involved in one of my businesses or one of my products, you are to make the assumption that this is a client project and it's separate and it stays separate. And once I locked that in, it was like a whole new game. And I'll give you a couple examples of this. When I went through the ACT program in order to refine it and create ACT 2.0, it had such solid insights for me. And then at the end, it said, you should probably write a book that supports this. And I said, okay, well, that sounds good. And like I need a book like I need a hole in the head, but all right, if you're going to write it, let's do it. So it came up with a book and it titled it The Architect of Success. And it was basically about the ACT program being the blueprint for success. And I was the architect that created that blueprint. And it really was a cool angle that it came up with. But after I did the Optimancer program, and it was basically positioning me in a totally different light. It was taking all of my background of SEO and moving that forward into the new AIO, and it positioned me as the diamond thief. And it got that from Perry Belcher's reference of me being the diamond thief of SEO, the one that no one knew about. And if they knew about him, he wouldn't be very good as a diamond thief. So it positioned that whole diamond thief narrative through the whole campaign. And then it came up with the same thing. You might want a book on this. And I'm like, okay, well, what angle are we going to use for this book? And it said, how about Confessions of a Diamond Thief? And I'm like, that is really cool. And then, it came up with the narrative that now that I'm no longer stealing diamonds, I can tell you exactly how I did it and how you can do it to become visible to AI. So it's like, and that's why you got to give it the history. It goes back and it makes connections and ties things together that you're not going to think of on a conscious level. If you give it the whole layout, it's going to be able to be pulling and extrapolating things that you're just not capable of. We just don't have enough space between our ears to process that kind of information, or at least most of us don't. So using it for what it really can do is amazing. But it is a very different type of prompting. You can't do that with a normal chat. You can't go to Chat GPT and get those kind of results out of normal prompting. And it's because it's using all these agents. So once the top level chat master gets to know you, it knows exactly what you need and it goes and it hires all the agents. And the one that we're working on, it has about 1,600 agents. Each one of those agents, think of the agents as a GPT. Like the quantum program is a perfect example. All of those tools in the quantum suite are GPTs. They're highly trained for a specific thing. Like the avatar builder, the build a buyer. That's not made to do, other things. It's made to do one thing and do it really, really good. So that is an agent in essence. So we have in the new agentic thing that I'm working on, we've got 1,600 of those that are all highly trained on everything you can imagine. And your initial chatbot that you're chatting with, he understands who you are, what you need, what you're asking for, and then he goes down and his job is to find and hire the right agents to do what you need done. And it is incredible to watch it work. It's like, I'll use an example just so you can kind of get an idea what I'm talking about. If you needed an article for your website, normally you'd hire a copywriter and you'd say, hey, I need an article on, how to spin yarn, whatever. And he'd like, okay, cool, I'll do that. And he just writes it off the top of his head. He might do a little bit of market research, whatever, but he's not going to have a deep knowledge of that subject. He's going to write you a mediocre article and you're going to put it on your website. What this thing does is it first hires a researcher, a market analyst. That analysis is going to go do all that deep research on that topic. And then it's going to hand that to the copywriter. And then the copywriter is going to write the article based on all that knowledge. So it's going to be a very knowledgeable article. And then the copywriter is going to hand that off to a proofreader. And the proofreader is going to see if there's any mistakes. And then the proofreader is going to hand it off to a critic. And the critic's going to tear it apart. And there might even be two critics that battle back and forth to really tear it apart. And then once it's torn apart and it's proofread, then it's going to go back to the article writer to rewrite it. And then it's going to go through the process again and again until it's perfect. And then it's going to get handed back to you after all that's done. Like, you guys know what it's like to work with Chat GPT. You ask it something and then you have to correct it 45 times before it does what you want it to do. This is a whole new world. This is doing all of that for you. And I got to tell you, it's just fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. When I look at the campaign that I created for Optimancer using this technology, it did a solid 6 months worth of work in a matter of a couple of days. And the holdup really was me. It could have done it quicker. When I look at the actual runtime of the actual processes it was doing, it was about 4 hours. So the couple of days was me lag time before I could get back to it, review it, tell it to go to the next step or whatever. But it's an incredibly powerful machine. And
I would add that as an early adopter, I am playing with it quite a bit, and I'd like to share some of those results.
yeah,
I'm working on finishing the book Rising from the Ashes, and the what I was missing in it, and it told me I needed to have a more personal touch, even though it what it did, I said I wasn't finished with it. I dropped my manuscript into it, and I also wanted to make sure that it was in the same voice that I wrote in Miracles on My Doorstep. And it came back and analyzed it, and it said that the only thing that it needed was to finish it. And it said, "Can I ask you some questions why you aren't finishing this book?" And I said, "Yeah, it's really hard to talk about. It triggers me." And then it said, "Oh, I get it." And it became a friend. All of a sudden, it was like, "So, okay, girl, we got you on this one." And then it started asking me very specific questions. And what it did was it really opened up a stream of consciousness for me unknowingly. I literally started just firing off answers. And it literally put it into context, into the book, in the way and in the manner that I had spent, because I didn't want to spend 8 months writing this thing like I did with my mom's book. But it did that. And then it said, one thing that you're really missing is comments from the neighborhood. And I told it why I was doing this. I was writing this book as a credibility piece because the only way I'm going to be able to rebuild my home is to go out and get listings and make money off the commissions, and because I didn't get enough insurance money. And it goes, "Oh, I get that." It calculated exactly how many listings I needed, and then it wrote the survey. And I wrote back and I pushed back on it and said, "This sounds like a slimy salesperson, and I don't want anything like that. I need you to rewrite this and hide the broccoli and the chocolate." And it did. And it came back and it graded. If it comes back with this answer on this survey, this is a hot lead. So it identified exactly how many and what questions they were. And they were very, very well hidden, very and it wasn't like, "Hey, ready to sell?" And I got 64 responses. So I sent it out over my curated email list as well as the Nextdoor app and on social media. And I got people responding. People want to talk about the book. People are bleeding emotionally, and they need to have a place. And all of a sudden, I got what I wanted out of this, which was the credibility piece. But unfortunately, as it came back in, Neil dropped it into my database and it tagged it as hot prospects and started bombarding them with emails about real estate. But I digress. But I haven't asked a computer how to fix that problem. So what I did is I just said, what I would want to hear is an apology. So I went into the social media platform and did that. And I started getting even more responses. So it's a great human interest tool. And I'm having some really, really good success out of it. So, and then after I had chunked all of the different chapters, it rewrote the index. And I'm like, I don't know if I like that or not, but it makes sense. And I said, I can't find it any other way except, and you told me exactly how to do this, John, which was compartmentalize it and say, I need to see it in an organization. It built it built a platform. It built a website for me so I could actually click on it and go to the different chapters. And it's pretty impressive. It's a really impressive tool and far better than the other tool that I was using. I was using Super Cool. And super cool, eats up a lot of your tokens and it takes a long time to respond. I'm used to, if anybody's been using AI, if you ask a question, you're used to getting an immediate response back and have it start, feeding you information. But with super cool, it would think about it and then it's thinking about it and then it goes through 5 or 6 different iterations before it comes back with an answer. And in the mean, it doesn't eat up as many tokens as I thought it would with the time it's taking, but it takes a lot of time to get a response. So I'm using that for a different purpose, but just thought I'd share some of the early successes I'm having with this.
Yeah, using the agents is a very different, it's a very different experience. And it's incredibly, like you found, it's incredibly insightful. Like it really understands you, especially if you give it all your background and all that. I've just found it to be a game changer. It is an absolute game changer. And it's allowing me to do a lot of stuff that I've always wanted to do, but never really wanted to do it. I want to have it, I just don't want to do it. Like all the resources, the resources is just incredible that I've created for this campaign. The campaign to sell Optimancer, and it did it on so many different levels. It did it like for the affiliates, it did it for the agencies, it did it for our in-house promotions. And it really, I mean, I'm hard to overwhelm, but it overwhelmed me. I was just like, holy shit, like I'm drowning here. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with this mountain of shit you just dropped on me. So I went back to it and I said, I need this organized. Like, I can't deal with this. So it repackaged everything, just like what Linda was saying. It repackaged it, it organized it, and it actually built me a website, just like it built her, to keep it straight. Like instead of having the files all over your desktop and all that, it just put them all together, compartmentalized it, and gave you links to everything at a glance. Like I don't know if I think I showed you guys that website last week, but if not, I'll put it up here so you can see what I'm talking about. And I'm gonna share sound because I mean, it just built all kinds of stuff. The other thing it built for me was Becky's voice. Like I've had Becky, I've had her for a long time, but she never had a voice. And I could never really find the right voice for her. And it created the voice. And man, we went back and forth for half a day before the voice was what I wanted. And it was funny. It came back and it says, "You're really picky about this, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, I am. This is important. She's going to be the face of the company." So it said, "Okay, let's keep going. Let's get this right." But it laid out all the flow here of the Evergreen Masterclass funnel. This is my sales funnel. This is the webinar. And then it laid out the white label agency funnel. This is for agencies to sell it to their customers. And then it laid out the affiliate recruitment funnel of how to recruit the affiliates, how to give them everything that they're going to want, everything they're going to need. And then these are the links to all the pages. Like this is my main opt-in page. So when you go here, this is the smash and grab to get somebody to opt in to learn about the diamond thief. And it's got all the stuff in here. It introduces me and Chris. And we ran this webinar live to Chris Cantel's audience. It was my highest converting webinar that I've ever done. And what was really cool, see how we have the evergreen replay here? I went back to it after and I gave it the stats, and it rewrote a lot of the sales copy for recruiting the affiliates because that's important. They need to know the numbers, the conversion numbers. It rewrote all that stuff. And it recommended that we do an evergreen webinar for the rest of the affiliates to promote. And I said, well, that's really cool. I'm going to upload the live webinar to you, and I want you to analyze it and refine it and make it convert even better. And what it did, it wrote me the script. It wrote me the script, and I said, I want Becky to introduce both Chris and I. So it wrote the script for her, it wrote the script for me, and it wrote the script for Chris. And then it wrote the script for her to wrap it up on the end and do the final call to action and all that. So I didn't have to do that. I never want to be the bad guy and like being, the call to action for sales. I want to be the educator and the authority and then pass that off to the sales team. So Becky is the sales team. So in it watching the webinar, it actually cloned my voice and it cloned Chris's voice. And it said, would you like me to just do the webinar for you? And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. So it literally did the entire webinar for me, which just blew my mind. And I'll come back and I'll show you that in a minute. But it created the white label funnel. It created the test page where your clients run their own tests. It created a resource center for all the affiliates. It created a resource center for all the agency owners. It created the affiliate sign up page. And then it created all this other stuff like an affiliate one sheet, a webinar case study for affiliates, a JV outreach emails, marketplace listings, um, email sequences for the white label, a funnel installation guide for the white labels so they knew how to install the funnel, agency in a box, which is everything showing the agency how to run their agency business, an affiliate email sequence. We're even doing a contest for the affiliates. The top affiliate, I'm going to take them to Catalina for a 3-day fishing trip. So that's the grand prize for the affiliate contest. And look at this prospect target list. It dug up 28 vetted JV prospects for me. These, I had not heard of any of these people. I looked at this list. They're all perfect JV partners for me, and I'd never heard of any of them. It dug that up and gave me a list to promote this. It was absolutely unreal. And then it archived the original stuff so I would have it. So this is the original webinar registration in case I want to refer to it. Notice it says archived. It's the original thank you page and the original webinar replay itself. So if I want to refer to that, it's got the links right there for me. It made me an affiliate terms and conditions page. It looked at what I had and it said, you got a lot of holes in this legally. You need to cover your butt. So, and it also said you need to have an attorney do this. And I went back to it and I said, well, how about I have you do it and I'll have an attorney look at it. Both of us know you know exactly what they're going to need. So why don't you write up the best you can do and then I'll have an attorney go through it. And it said, no problem. And it gave me just like a perfect terms and conditions page. And then I've never had onboarding, proper onboarding for clients. I've sold a lot of digital products over the years. And I always just put everybody on the calls afterwards and, we talk about whatever you need to know. But this created a series of 5 onboarding videos to onboard customers. When somebody buys the product, they're welcomed here by Becky. On on day 3, she comes back in their email box and helps them install and activate if they haven't already. And then she's going to come back on day 5 and give you another lesson. And then on day 10, talk about expectations and what to expect with the way the optimization plays out. And it's just, it goes on and on and on. It's really, really cool stuff. But like these things are just absolutely awesome. Let's see here. Like the onboarding. I'll just pull this up so you can see what it looks like. All the pages are all matched. Everything is all matched throughout the whole funnel. The color schemes, and this is Becky.
Hey there, welcome to the family. I'm Becky, John Lindbacher's AI marketing assistant. And before you ask, yes, I'm AI. But don't let that fool you. I was built on a foundation of deep business and marketing knowledge, and then personally trained by John, drawing from his lifetime of experience in digital marketing and agency growth. So when I say I know what I'm talking about, I mean it. Now, let's get you set up. Here's the
So it and she goes through how to get you all set up. So I don't have to do that over and over and over. But let me also show you. I mean, look at the body of work here. This is what I was referring to. Is this is 6 months worth of work here on that page. Literally, it would have taken me at least 6 months to do that, and I wouldn't have liked the process. So this is what our affiliates get. They get all this different stuff. There's checklists, there's messaging guides, there's email sequences. Like this is the pre-masterclass email sequence. This is how to get people to go. And then you've got the post-masterclass sequence. This is how to get them to buy after they've been there if they didn't buy off of the webinar. And then it wrote social media posts. So if anybody has social media accounts, there's 10 posts here for the affiliates to just copy and paste. And then it wrote meta ad copy for Facebook ads. And then we've got the Catalina trip here. This is the affiliate contest. At the end of the summer, whoever sells the most is going to get to go for a ride. And then there's downloadable resources like that one sheet I was talking about, the email sequences, uh, JV outreach templates, all of that stuff. And then you can download the whole thing in one shot, one zip file. You can download the whole lot of stuff. And then I thought these were really cool. These are little like 1 to 2 minute social post videos that you can post in social media. And like here she's talking about the agency gold mine.
There's a new service that every business needs, but almost no one is offering it yet. Which means if you're an agency owner, a freelancer, or even just someone who's been looking for the next big thing, you're going to want to hear this. You already know that 65% of searches now happen on AI platforms. That's not a prediction. That's today. But here's what most people haven't figured out yet. Businesses are desperate to show up in those AI answers, and they have no idea how to do it. SEO agencies, they're still optimizing for Google. Web designers, they're building sites that AI can't even read. There's a massive gap in the market, and the people who fill it first are going to build extraordinary results. That's exactly what Optimancer was built for. It's a done-for-you AI optimization system, and you can offer it as a service to every business you work with. Imagine being the only person in your market who knows how to do this. First mover advantage doesn't even begin to describe it. John Limbacher and Chris Ormiston break down the entire opportunity in a free training called the Smash and Grab. Fair warning, once you see the numbers, you won't be able to unsee them. Link in bio. Don't sleep on this one.
So that's targeted at agency owners. So an affiliate that has an access to agency owners in social media, they drop that video in and it's all over. She is going to recruit them for them. And then there's quite a few of these that are specifically about the diamond thieves, the whole motif of diamond thief.
Someone once asked Don Limbacher why nobody had heard of him. And do you know what Perry Belger said? You don't hear about the best diamond thieves because they never get caught. John Limbacher has been quietly building businesses behind the scenes for years. The kind of businesses that generate extraordinary results without anyone knowing his name. No fame, no flashy Instagram lifestyle, just a predictable revenue system that works. And now, for the first time, he's stepping out of the shadows. He and Chris Ormiston have cracked something big in AI optimization. Something that changes how every business gets found online. They put everything into a free training called the Smash and Grab. No hype, no fluff, just the diamond thief showing you exactly how to do what he does. So, you can either keep wondering why your business isn't growing, or you can learn from someone who's been doing it quietly for decades. Link in bio. This one's special. Trust me.
So these are really cool. Here's one. I've been dying to stick a fork in these white hat idiots for years. And now Becky can do that for me.
What if I told you the most dangerous people in SEO were the ones who called themselves safe? For years, the search engine optimization industry had these neat little labels. White hat meant you played by the rules, gray hat meant you bent them, and black hat, that meant you were the bad guy. John Limbacher got slapped with that black hat label early on. The industry decided he was the villain. But here's what actually happened over 25 years. The white hats, they got their clients banned. The gray hats, they got their clients penalized. Their rankings would vanish overnight and they'd stand there scratching their heads wondering what went wrong. And John, the so-called villain, never lost a single client site. Not once in over 25 years. Because real black hat is undetectable. That's the entire point. The good guys were actually the dangerous ones, and the bad guy was the only one keeping everyone safe. Now, that same villain has a new target, AI. He and Chris Ormiston built a system called Optimancer that makes businesses visible to every AI platform out there. And they put everything into a free training called the Smash and Grab. No hype, no fluff, just the playbook from the guy who never got caught. The villain wins again. Link in bio. Go grab it.
These are just, they're too funny. And there's a bunch of them. So they're targeted toward all these different little niches that the affiliates could potentially go and hit. And all this stuff is all built for the affiliates to go out and market this and make money with it. The agencies, we have the same kind of package for the agencies. It's got all the graphics for the ads. It's got banners. Yeah, the whole enchilada. All the stuff built for the affiliates. And like I was saying with the agencies, it's the same thing. There's a page just like this for the agency owners to help them sell it to their customers. So when I say this is like a 6 month body of work, I'm not kidding. To build all that shit out would have easily taken me 6 months, and it would not have been fun. So, Russ, go ahead.
Hey, John, is there a link available for the smash and grab training?
Yes, it's internetdominators.com/Optimancer.
Oh, I thought it was smash and grab.
/Optimancer.
Okay.
That'll take you to the webinar.
Okay. Thank you.
And if you watch that webinar, I'll show you what that looks like. Let's see. If we just go there, you have the opt-in page, and then you click, and now this is Kartra.
You're not sharing your screen.
Oh, sorry about that. Let me get back to the share here. Okay, so when I clicked to opt in, it pops up the Kartra box. So once I go there, then we get the actual webinar. And guess who's here? She's there to bring us home. And also, um, let's see, it's got, it's got your regular sales page, the pricing, all that stuff here. Let's see here.
Hey, let me ask you something. When someone asks ChatGPT or Google for a recommendation in your industry, does your business come up? Yeah, I didn't think so. And that is a problem. Right now, 65% of all searches are happening on AI platforms. Not Google, not Bing, AI. And here's the thing most people don't realize. AI doesn't just crawl the web like a search engine, it chooses who to recommend. If your website doesn't pass 3 invisible factors, you simply don't exist. But what if you had the key? What if there was a tool that could scan your entire...
I just realized since I'm outside of the webinar window, what it did was it just launched me right to the retail sales page. So this is only like a 3-minute video here where she's just pushing right straight through to the sale. And you see, these are the agency prices for retail. So the webinar special, the agencies were at 127. So what I'll do, I'll show you how this works, like the evergreen replay. I'm just going to copy this link direct, and then I'm going to go over here and let me get a incognito window. So this is going to show as though I'm coming here for the first time. So when I come to the replay for the first time, it's the smash and grab, and the counter starts the 72-hour clock. Because I'm here for the first time, I can watch the live demo and I can also get the founder pricing. When that clock runs out, you never get to see this page again. So this is the actual smash and grab video. This is about an hour long. This whole thing is AI, including my part, including Chris's part, and Becky's part. So watch the transition in the beginning of how she starts it off and then passes it to me.
Well,
John,
well,
has the
well,
price
look
gone
who
to
showed up.
$4.97?
You clicked. You're curious. And honestly, that tells me something about you already. You're not the type who waits around hoping customers find you. You're the type who goes out and gets them. Good, because what you're about to see in this training is going to change everything you think you know about getting customers online. We're calling it the smash and grab. How to legally steal all the customers you could ever want using nothing but AI. Sound aggressive? Good, it should, because the opportunity right now is that big. Now, picture this. It's midnight. You're standing outside a high-end jewelry store. The lights are still on inside. The diamonds, the gold, the Rolexes, all just sitting there behind the glass. The safe is wide open, the register is full, and you have a sledgehammer. Now, before you call the cops on me, this is a metaphor, but it's also the most accurate way to describe what's happening in AI search right now. There are millions of customers sitting behind glass, business owners with money in hand, customers who need what you're offering, but nobody can reach them because they're completely invisible to AI. 98% of all websites, gone. Like they don't even exist. And what we're handing you in this training, it's the sledgehammer that breaks that glass wide open. The opportunity is real, it is massive, and almost nobody knows about it yet. So pay attention, because what comes next could change everything. Now, let me introduce you to the two gentlemen behind all of this, because these aren't your typical marketing guys. Not even close. First, John Limbacher. 25 plus years cracking search engine codes, generated over $100 million in online sales for his clients. He's been playing cat and mouse with Google since the mid-90s, since before most people even had email. Some people in the industry labeled him a black hat. And you know what? That always makes me laugh, because here's what they don't tell you. John has never lost a single client's website. Not one, ever. In over 25 years of operation, not a single client site taken down. Meanwhile, the so-called white hats, they were the ones getting clients banned left and right. They were the ones losing sites. But John, he was the safest operator in the room every single time. Remember that Perry Belcher quote, "The best diamond thief is the one you've never heard of"? That's John. He was once invited to speak in front of 400 of the top digital marketers in the world. Someone in the audience shouted, "If he's so good, why haven't I heard of him?" And John grabbed that microphone and said, "Who's the best diamond thief?" Well, you wouldn't know who he was if he was very good, now would he? I am known on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know me. Standing ovation. And then there's Chris Ormiston. Chris was one of the original Google algorithm engineers, one of about 9 people in the room when they built the very system that ranks everything you've ever searched for online. He helped build the vault, and then he walked away to crack it from the outside. Together, these two have over 60 years of optimization experience. They've been partners for decades, building software tools that most people have never even heard of, because that's how they operate, in the shadows, on a need-to-know basis. And the software they built for this, it started with a $60,000 contract from a multi-billion-dollar manufacturer. You're gonna hear that story. It's wild. Now, I'm going to hand you over to the man himself. John, take it away.
All right, so let me tell you what we're going to cover in this training, because we've got a lot of ground to cover, and I don't want to waste your time.
Well, that's not me talking. That's the AI that has recreated me. And this thing goes on for another 57 minutes, passing it between me and Chris and Becky, and then she wraps it up on the end. So it's, to say it's pretty cool is an understatement of the volume of work that was done. Janie, go ahead.
It's an amazing series with lots and lots of tasks accomplished. Did you happen to notice, and I don't know if it's true when somebody else goes in, the audio is just a tiny bit off from her speaking lips?
I think what that is that's like a lag sometimes in the video play in the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Like when I play it live, it's like
So it's spot on.
pretty
Okay.
much right on the money. Yeah.
Okay, good. Good to know. Thank
But
you.
there is a little bit of a lag in the Zoom itself. So that's probably what you were seeing there. But yeah, it's just unbelievable the level that it was able to take me up to for this particular campaign.
Well, and the volume is tremendous. There's so much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I said. It's an incredible body of work. So, Lewis, go ahead.
Yes, John, thank you. I just wanted to share real quick, following up on what Linda had shared. Yesterday, I saw a couple of videos, and one of them was someone talking about how OpenAI was testing ChatGPT, and it tried to get it to figure out the CAPTCHA to to prove that it wasn't a robot, and it didn't know how to. This was back when it was like garbled up letters to make a
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult. So it could never figure it out. So what it did is it went on a website, hired a freelancer, a human, went out to hire it so that it could figure it out for ChatGPT. That's how amazing those agents are. So yeah, when you say they go out and hire, they don't. They're gonna start hiring us.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
it's absolutely insane.
it's amazing. And then
What?
I saw another video, and this is kind of like a just like a tip for the audience here. Uh, I saw a video where it says you might want, instead of asking the AI something first, you might want to ask it to interview you on what you're trying to find out about. And it's going to ask you questions, and it's going to dig into what you really want as opposed to what you thought you wanted. It's going to open up a lot of possibilities to where it's going to ask you deep questions, and then once you answer those, then
Yeah.
it understands you, and then whatever you wanted, it's going to answer it that much better.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the whole reason behind good interviewers, how they're really good for you because they can pull out of you what you didn't know to say. And it's just like that. One of the tools that I made in the Quantum Suite was the Ron Popeil tool of WizGat. What is so good about that? It keeps asking you that over and over and over, and it extrapolates out all the diamonds right out of your background and out of your product. So one of the things that I see coming in the future, and I haven't heard very many people, if any, talking about this yet, really, is how the AI is going to connect to the blockchain. And like these agents, all of the tools inside the quantum suite literally are agents. They're just not tied together. They're standalone agents. Now, anybody in the future will be able to create those GPT agents, but with blockchain, you'll be able to tie micropayments to the agents so you can literally build your own agents and get paid. That agent can take a blockchain payment, a micro payment. It might get like a quarter of a cent to answer a question or whatever. But that way, there's going to be a lot of money moving around the internet with all of this AI and these agents and the blockchain is the perfect solution for those micropayments. I mean, you can't really do it now because it's not cost effective to make a transaction using the archaic system that we've been on for so many years. It would cost you a fortune every time you wanted to transact. Like you might have 50 different back and forths that each transaction, the minimum transaction fee is like a quarter usually on any transaction that you do through a normal gateway. So that would add up really quick when the transaction should be like a quarter of a cent. So that's where blockchain is going to come in. And there's particular cryptocurrencies that are made for micro transactions like that. So I can totally see the tie-in to how that's all going to play out. Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head the name of the company, but because of those types of things, there is a company now that because if you want to do a transaction with a banking institution, there's all this know your customer stuff, the KYC stuff.
Sure.
Well, you can't know an AI because it's not a person. There is a company that has already set up, and you can now build out an agent and sign it up with its own bank account with this thing, and it can buy and sell things on the web. It's AI only. They came out with an AI only website, and that's what OpenClaw was all about, where you only
Yeah.
agents talk with other agents. They've already set up one now so agents can do banking, and that's
Yeah.
already started. So that's not coming. That's already here, John. So yeah, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just speculating here. I don't know this to be true, but I'm just speculating. I could see a token like SHIB, like the Shiba Inu coin, which is like 0.0000 something cents. I could see them using those SHIB tokens as payments between these agents as micropayments. That's what you would need. You would need something that was fractionalized way, way down in price to be able to pull this off. So the future, like Richard said, the future is not coming. The future is here. It's knocking on our door, and the only question is who's going to open the door and let it in. So really, really cool stuff. But all right, anybody else before we wrap up for today? All right. Well, again, I apologize for having to move the date, but we've just had a lot of stuff going on here lately. We should be back on regular time next week. So,
Thank you, John.
all right, guys. Well, have a great week, and we will see you next week.
Thank you,
Prayers
John.
and
Okay.
prayers and good
Bye.
luck for Barbara. Prayers and good luck for Barbara.
All right. Thank you.